Doug Bowser is officially retiring from Nintendo after what, 6 years or so, 7 years of being the head of Nintendo of America. He decides to hang it up and walk away. He says on X, "Today, I announced my plan to retire from Nintendo, effective December 31st, 2025. Nintendo has been an integral part of my life for 44 years, starting with Donkey Kong Arcade as a kid in college. It has been an honor to contribute to this incredible company and bring our beloved characters and worlds to fans through our video games, theme parks, and movie experiences. I extend my best wishes to Devon Pritchard as she leads Nintendo of America forward. And I thank all of you for your passion and support of Nintendo, and you can count on me to remain a Nintendo fan." I will say, just on a personal note with Doug Bowser, I interacted with him a couple of times on X over the years, and he's always been very cordial, down to earth, and strikes me as someone who really cared about the every man and girl and kid gamer. Except when it came to the latter years in the Switch 2, price increases, key cards on games, and the decisions that have completely handicapped Nintendo moving forward and given them a black eye in the landscape of gaming. And while a lot of people want to blame Nintendo Japan for that, I don't. I put a lot of that squarely on this guy and his previous experience at Electronic Arts, and how a lot of that experience transfers directly over into nickel and diming people to death. And it kind of feels like that's what Nintendo turned into, as opposed to making really great quality products over the years and getting people to buy into your ecosystem because of the value and the high quality that always seem to come out of them. So a part of me wonders if Doug is being pushed out of Nintendo or if he's doing this on his own accord. But time, I guess, will tell. But Nintendo of Japan is never going to formally announce anything like that. But I can't help but think, based off of just the community's reactions of the direction Nintendo's been going, the sentiment has been anything but positive. And it almost feels like Nintendo of Japan might have been looking at the situation like there was a desperate need to change, which we'll get into in just a second. But before we even go there, the way I found out about this is one of my videos that I made just last week, railing on Doug Bowser, saying that he sucks, started blowing up randomly again today. And people commenting, and my phone started blowing up, being like, "You called it. You were right. You were the prognosticator. They're getting rid of him. He's leaving." And I was like, wait, what? That's how I found out about it. I was like, what's going? So I loaded up X, and sure as shit, yep, he's retiring. And just like I said, a week or two ago was when I made my video saying this guy sucks. I'm like, damn, that happened quick. Reggie Fizme on X says, "Devon is a talent and should do incredibly well. I look forward to this generation of Nintendo of America. Congrats to Doug Bowser for the past 6+ years." And this is quote tweeting Jeff Keighley, who said, "The incredible Devon Pritchard, a longtime Nintendo executive, will succeed Doug Bowser as the new head of Nintendo of America, effective January 1st, 2026. Bowser will retire December 31st. Congratulations, Devon." Which, you know what? When I first heard this information, I got to be honest, I rolled my eyes. Because I'm like, the direction Nintendo's been going, pushing a lot of pride, woke stuff, agendas coming from Seattle and Redmond, a very questionable part of the country when it comes to that kind of stuff. And then they announced this coming from Doug Bowser, who is pronouns in bio, pushing pride parades on LinkedIn, to a female taking over for him. And my initial reaction, my gut reaction was Like the Endymion reaction with Ghost of Yotei, like girl boss, here we go. My immediate gut reaction was that, just being honest. I'm like, girl boss, here we go. But then I was like, you know what? Maybe it's not so bad. Maybe she's getting a bad rap. Maybe we need to give her a chance, guys. Maybe Nintendo is turning a corner with this person, this Devon Pritchard. This is Central Leaks, which a lot of people referenced for the breaking story. Devon Pritchard becomes the new president of Nintendo America after Doug Bowser's retirement. And this is her. All right. You guys tell me what you think about this situation. Just
to connect.
A clip of her.
Processing power, really vibrant visuals. We have new Joy-Con 2 controllers that magnetically click to connect, but also they allow for new ways to play. So you'll be able to play in the ways that you've always known, with the buttons and the joystick, with motion, but for the first time, you'll be able to play with the Joy-Con 2 as a mouse controller, and that's incredibly fun.
Who talks like this? It's like, we know you're peddling and marketing and advertising to try to sell this, but it's like all you're doing is reading PowerPoint presentations. You're not actually in the weeds with people. What even is this?
You'll be able to play in the ways that you've always known, with the buttons and the joystick, with motion, but for the first time, you'll be able to play with the Joy-Con 2 as a mouse controller, and that's incredibly fun.
For the first time, you'll be able to play with your Joy-Con as a mouse controller. And that's incredibly fun. So according to her, the main selling point for the Switch 2 is to play with it as a mouse controller, which I have only done one time with that Nintendo tech demo that should have been free, the lab, whatever. I was like, it's fun, I guess, but like, this is not something I want to pick up my game system to go back to play. It's just someone that's completely, to me, reeks of being out of touch with the consumer and is in way over their head for a position. Not to mention her LinkedIn got the crazy eyes going on. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking into it. But she's executive VP of revenue, marketing, and consumer experience at Nintendo of America in the greater Seattle area. I will say, to give her credit where it's due, no pronouns. No pronouns. We got that. We got that. That's something. She says, congratulations to Doug Bowser on an incredible career. You've been a fantastic leader, and it's an honor to build on the foundation you've established here at Nintendo. On behalf of the entire Nintendo of America team, thank you for everything. Wishing you a well-deserved and happy retirement. And that's the same post that he made over on X as well regarding the situation. But it's not all rainbows, sunshine, and butterflies. Savvy over on X. Oh no. Rip Nintendo. One day they'll shut down the American branch. Yeah, here's hoping, by the way. We can only dream. Her initial reaction was exactly the same as my initial reaction. And Ryu says, how bad could it be? Looks her up. She's the marketing lady. And Savvy replies, this goes crazy here. One of the worst options. Granted, all of them are bad. All of them need to go so Nintendo can actually thrive. They're profitable for sure, but imagine how much more they'd be without shitty American influence from out-of-touch losers. And this is where I really wanted to focus on with this Devon Pritchard person that a lot of people don't know about. And this is going to come out in the following months. Marcus Agrippa says she's not marketing. She was behind Nintendo's major legal battles. She is the reason Nintendo has a reputation of a very litigious corporation. Devon Whitney Pritchard, known as Redmond Intellectual Property Lawyer. Devon Pritchard was behind following Nintendo legal battles. Nintendo patent case against Quishel Research Group in 2015. Nintendo versus Cyber Shopping. Jacob and Christian Mathis of Arizona. Nintendo versus Team Executor. Gary Bowser sentenced to 40 months in prison in 2022, $14 million restitution ordered. According to this, she is the person behind all of that. So I had to do some more research on it. And sure as shit, she is. It's funny how they let people know about this kind of stuff in their LinkedIn. Almost like they want to hide who she really is at Nintendo, that they just put in charge of everything. This is from GamerRanks. Nintendo gets $9.5 million in copyright case over illegal 3DS flashcards. Nintendo makes a stand against pirated 3DS games. This is in March 2017. I want to focus on this part here. This is the first reported ruling that enforces anti-circumvention rules previously established in 2012 and confirms Canada's tough approach to copyright infringement and video game piracy. Devon Pritchard, Nintendo of America's General Counsel and Senior Vice President of Business Affairs, was firm in his they thought it was a dude, was firm in her assessment of the ruling. Nintendo continues to be a leader in bringing innovation, gaming, platforms, and software to our fans and millions of gamers across the globe. Nintendo has established an established track record that demonstrates our resolve to protect our iconic characters and franchises. We will continue to protect the creative works of our developers and vigorously enforce our intellectual property rights against those that attempt to steal or misuse them. Now, I will say, in defense of Devon Pritchard, maybe GamerRanks got it wrong and mixed up who Devon Pritchard is and who this person is, because they do say his, and maybe they meant a different name. But I don't know, guys. I read this and I'm like, damn, especially when I look back at this. And there's other people saying, oh, it wasn't just that case. It is curious. So it makes you wonder what this person really is all about when it comes to Nintendo. Emerald Apple says, well, this is going to be the end of Nintendo as we know it. Go woke, go broke. Dan says, put a chick in it and make her lame and gay, which I will say, by the way, I made a statement on X with my feelings on the situation, and it's already getting some backlash from people who are just like, hey, give her a chance. Why do you hate women so much? And all this other stuff that expected tropes from people. I said, don't let the door hit you on the way out, Doug, when I first heard the news, because I thought anyone would be an improvement over pushing EA microtransactions. And then I said, oh, wait, never mind, with the information of who is taking his place. And then people in the comments, why is she so bad? And I shared this. Extreme. Wow. Already judged her because she's a woman. She's not even going to be the CEO. She's just going to be president. The new CEO will be a man. I feel like there's a lot of cope going on with people being like, hey, give her a chance. It should be fine. What could possibly be the problem? Maybe she'll do great. And I will backtrack and say, damn, I was really wrong with my initial thoughts on this person. But I'm not going to lie and say, yeah, it's going to be great, guys. No, I have a lot of concerns. But to be fair, I had a lot of concerns with Doug Bowser too. So at the same time, it might just be leveling off, Nintendo falling to where it is and just being there for the foreseeable future. But she does strike me as a DEI hire, and putting a girl boss in charge of Nintendo of America in one of the wokest areas of the world. Let's be honest, Seattle, Redmond. It's not a great look, but we'll see. I would love to be proven wrong. I'll put it that way, but I'm definitely not going to be holding my breath. Smash, she has a bachelor's degree in biological sciences, then a law degree after it. So DEI hire, I'm calling it. No business degree even. I mean, if she has a law degree, then that story checks out from GamerRanks. And it's curious how they don't say anything about that in the hiring. Curious, very curious. I know it's not just me too. I know like Nintendo holds a very sentimental part of nostalgia for a lot of people. And I think a lot of people feel the same way as I do. As a Switch 2 owner that has not picked up my Switch 2 in probably 3 weeks, maybe longer. Like whenever I was flying back from Dallas, I took it with me and I played it on the plane for a little bit. That was it. That's it. I don't even touch it. And I would almost argue, like, at this point, yes, I do regret buying my Switch 2. There, I said it. But it's kind of a paradox because I wanted to buy it so that I could honestly evaluate it to tell you guys that. And I wouldn't be able to tell you I regret buying it if I didn't buy it, which would prove the point of why I bought it in the first place, is to find out if I'm going to use it or not. That might change, by the way, when Metroid Prime 4 comes out. I'm hopeful because that was the whole purpose of me buying it right away anyways, because I knew I was going to play Metroid Prime 4. But I literally never used my Switch 1 after 1 year of use. I used to live on my Switch 1. Like, I played Switch 1 more than anything. Every day, probably 2 to 4 hours a day on my Switch 1. Not even joking. Especially when my kids were younger and stuff. Had a lot of downtime. Switch was always there. But yeah, things have changed, and Nintendo's getting so greedy. I wonder about the future.